Join me as I create a fun horizontal Dutch door spread. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Tracy and I want to thank you all so much for joining me today. And yes, I am going to be doing a Smurfs theme Dutch door spread. I think I'm going to be doing a horizontal Dutch door because I haven't done one in a while, and I think it will work really, really well with these stickers, which are actually clip art. So this is all clip art I got off of Pinterest or just Google image search and put them into Canva. I did do some flips. I flipped them horizontally, so I have some mirrored images for the Dutch doors, and then I just cut them by hand. Now I do have some images here that did not print the best. That kind of annoys me. I don't know what's going on with my reds and purple ink. It's still full, but for some reason maybe I need to shake it. But I did cut this with my Cricut, but these I did not cut with my Cricut because some of them, when I did remove background, the whites also disappeared. I didn't want to have my Cricut cut all of that out. So I cut these by hand, which is always something you guys can do if you don't have a Cricut and you want to do a fun theme in one of your journals or your planners or what have you. Especially if you do anything where you're looking for something specific that isn't available in any of the sticker books you have. It's always a fun little option. So I do have some here that are not going to have reverse images because these are the ones that are just going to be hanging out on the pages, because I do want to add some stickers to some of the pages as well. So for reverse images, I have, let's see if I can get this right. I have Vanity, right? Brainy. Well, I don't want to call him Brainiac, but I think it's Brainy. Doc, right? Right? No, Papa Smurf. Papa Smurf, that's it. Not I'm going. Their names are so similar to the Seventh Dwarfs. I'm like, Doc, no, Papa Smurf. And then, of course, Smurfette. Most of them are very what you see is what their name is, but some of them are kind of little All right, so I think I'm gonna cut out 2 Dutch doors, I think, with these. And then I think the background, I'm gonna put the mushroom houses. I don't think these are really theirs, but they're very similar to theirs. Smurfette had a pink house. I think hers was all pink with a balcony and stuff, but they're fine. I think this is gonna go, 2 of them are gonna go on the back page, and then 2 of them are gonna go here. And then I also have this tape roll from Journal Say that I think will actually work pretty well to put behind those houses to almost give the illusion that it's another Dutch door, even though it isn't. We'll see. But regardless, I didn't really duplicate those. I could have, but I didn't, because I was just thinking we'll cut around these and then that will be it. So what I'm thinking with the Dutch doors, I'm going to kind of map it out here as far as how, who I want where. So I'm going to have 2 on the first page, 2 on the next page. I actually think those 2 should probably be like that. I just think that's really cute. And then we could have maybe those 2 like that, or should he be like that? No, like that. Because it looks like he's talking to him. Okay, so then that would mean these 2 go on the first page. So that's how I'm thinking of that. Okay. And then with that said, how far down do we go now? Okay, so I can kind of see through the paper. So we'll just play with this one. Wow. That's going to come down pretty low. So I am going to cut the 2 Dutch doors the same exact. I'm going to take the same exact portion off. I'm not going to have those different sizes like sometimes you do on the vertical Dutch doors. So I'm going to do it like that. I feel like it probably needs to be like that. I mean, if they're right in front of the house, I could probably bring it up a little bit. So it looks like we're about right here. So here, okay, that works. That's not that bad. So we'll do that one and that one. All right, it is time to commit and put some stickers on the page. I always hesitate when I do Dutch doors to actually commit, because a lot of times I end up having to move things around several times just to get the exact placement that I want. I will say, for this particular design, and I don't know if it's the design or the fact that I'm doing a horizontal Dutch door instead of a vertical Dutch door, I felt like the placement was a little easy, especially because I guess maybe because I'm doing just 2 stickers on the page instead of 3, so there is a little bit more room to play with, at least on the pages that I cut with Dutch doors. That probably also made it a little easier. I do want to mention that you saw me go in with the scissors. I was doing a very rough cut with the scissors. And when I say rough cut, is I was pretty much just cutting around sloppily the actual stickers that was on the page. I did try to get pretty close to the hat to help me line up the actual sticker on the opposite side. But the reason why I wanted to do a rough cut is because once I place a sticker down on the opposite side, then I can go in and kiss cut everything. So I'm only doing this intricate cutting once rather than doing it twice. Once when I put the sticker on the first page, and then when I go back to match the sticker up, because these stickers were all cut by hand, the border around the stickers are all different. So I would have to also cut the sticker once the page or the sticker or whatever, once I put the second one down. So that's why I did the rough cut first, and kind of saves me a little bit of time. I did not have any issues using these small scissors to do most of my cutting. I do know that some people prefer to use the gyro cutter. I intend to buy one day, but right now it just has not been something that I've purchased. So I'm doing okay with these scissors. You will see a little bit later when I have to go in and do straight lines for the bottom, because I did not cut it all the way down to the bottom yet, and that was intentional. That was because I wasn't sure what kind of designs I would have on that back page that I might want to show. So I'm like, let's just not cut where the feet are yet. Let's save that and do that at the end. But you'll see at that point, that's when I come in with an X-Acto knife and a ruler, so I can get a more straight cut there. And I do use the X-Acto knife for some of the tiny little pieces I want to get, where the hat curves inward that the scissors might, not be able to get in as close. I do use the X-Acto knife there. Again, that will be toward the end. Basically right now, all I'm trying to do is just line up everything and get all of the basics on the page, and then I'll come in and do the fine tuning after that that gets done. So you can see it doesn't really take that long to do this. This was fairly simplistic. Like I said, 2 stickers or 2 images per Dutch door. And then on the very back, I'll just kind of fill in the space between the images, or at least where you can see part of the mushroom houses or the huts or whatever we want to call them in the very back, which is what I'm going to be pulling out now. Now these houses, 2 of the doors kind of go in one direction, and then 2 of them go in the other direction. So that is the reason why the purple and the pink one were on one side, because both of those doors were going in the same direction. I just felt like it looked a little bit better, even though you can't technically see it when looking at it with all the Smurfs and stuff in front of it. I still felt like, when you get to that very back page where there's nothing going to be in front of it, I just wanted them to go in the same direction. Again, just a personal preference. Now, lining the houses up with the clouds behind it, and you'll see I try to do a base for the houses. This was probably the toughest part of the entire spread. Who knew? Who knew this would be the toughest part of the entire spread? The part that really didn't require any cutting. I mean, I will cut some things and trim some things, but for the most part, this is just sticking things down on the page, and this gave me the biggest problem. first I used a cloud that had a like straight edge at the bottom, and then I thought I could just layer another cloud on top of it, but you could still see the straight edge behind the cloud that I put on top of it, and that just kept bothering me. I don't know if it'll come across on camera that way, but in person I was just like, oh, I cannot, my eyes just keep gravitating to that one just straight bold line of that cloud. So yeah, I do end up like adjusting and moving some things around just to fix the clouds. Yeah, it just was one of those things, I think every spread there's something that causes a hiccup, and for me it was the clouds and the houses. But I will say I do like the clouds. They do have a little bit of a shine to them, which is a little bit different from the matte of all of the other stickers that I printed myself. But again, I feel like in this instance with me doing Dutch doors, it just adds a little bit more dimension. So I think it looks fine. And it doesn't really like contrast, like the different types of materials don't really contrast as much as, you think it would. All right, so now is where I'm going to start working on the base or the edge of the Dutch doors. So I knew I wanted to use the grass. I like the texture look of the grass and how it can like overlap with something, but it's not tall enough for what I want it to do. So I'm going to need to add something else. So this is when I started playing with washi. So my first thought was this grid washi. Now I needed to cut around it, cut around the houses just to see truly what this washi was going to look like. I didn't love it, but I'm like, let me just cut around it anyway. And yeah, I didn't love it. So I decided we're going to go with the plan B. I have this washi that I have no idea where I got it from. It has roses drawn on it in black, but you really can't see it that much. So I'm like, okay, we're going to use this. And instead of cutting around the houses again, which I learned from doing with the other washi, I'm not very good at cutting and you see too much of the white space. Yeah, so I was like, let's just use some undo so I can slide the washi under the houses. And yeah, it's a lot easier in the end. And then finally I am layering the grass on top of the washi, which surprisingly it's stuck. Sometimes things don't always stick to the washi. You will see in a little bit. I do have that issue with one of my stickers. But for some reason, this particular sticker actually stuck. And I definitely like the way it looks. So you look like you have almost like a dirt path acting as a sidewalk or like a little roadway or whatever we want to say where the houses are. And then you have a grassy area. So yeah. I definitely like the way that looked. Wasn't sure exactly what I was going to do there. The other alternative is just to add just some regular washi of whatever color. I do like to put something along the edges of my Dutch doors, whether or not they are horizontal or vertical. So yeah, all you're going to see me do for the next minute or so in sped up time is now just, basically making everything straight and smooth. So all of the lines that need to be straight, this is when I'm going in with the X-Acto knife and the ruler. And then I'm doing a little bit more precision cutting that I missed. And I'm also going to go in and trim along the edge, the inside edge of the page toward the center. I don't trim that all the way to where the stitching is. I do leave a little bit hanging out just because I didn't want to mess with the integrity of the book or these pages. I didn't want the pages to start like getting loose and coming up at the top. So I did leave a little bit there, which is fine. You'll see at the very end, it really doesn't stand out that much or anything like that. And now it is time to work on this front page. So what I'm going to do on this first page is mimic the entire scene that I have going on the opposite page. So basically, I want this first page here to be a faux Dutch door. It's going to have all the layered effects. It's going to have the clouds, the houses, and then only two, two Smurfs. But that way it kind of continues on. It looks like when you're opening up this first page, that way it looks like a continued scene. And then you have very similar elements. When you flip the page, it just looks like one big kind of scene going across both two pages, no matter what page you're on. So once again, I put down the houses and put down the clouds, and then I flip the page and I'm like, ugh, you don't see the houses very much. And I really want you to see the houses. That's what I want you to see when you flip the pages. So I want the houses. Now, I know the houses aren't going to be completely seen just because, you know, there's a lot of Smurfs on my Dutch doors. So I just want a part of the house to be seen. So I ended up having to move those around. Fortunately for me, they did come up pretty easy. I didn't have to use the undo. And then I just mimicked the same thing with the washi, the grass, and all of that on this side as well. And I'm just trying to make sure everything pretty much lines up again, so that way it looks like a continuous scene. Now, when it comes to the two Smurfs that I put on this page, now I had any Smurf to choose from, but in the end, I decided to use the one where it looks like the guy is waving. I don't know which Smurf that is. I have no idea. He's not holding anything that like gives me like an idea of who that is. But what I figured I was going to do is have him look like he's waving at Handy Smurf, who's walking back in the other direction. So they were just having a little chat, and then they stopped chatting and kind of went off in opposite directions. That's the story here. Now, I will say you will not be seeing the Smurfs when you flip the page. These two, you won't see them because, again, I really wanted you to see the houses rather than just have all these Smurfs together. So that's the reason why I focus more on the placement of the houses. And then I put the Smurfs in the kind of white areas that the houses didn't cover. And then for the finishing touches of the actual Dutch doors, I am going to be using this kind of almost like lime greenish washi that came from a Live Love Posh box washi set. I'm not sure if it's still available. If it is, I'll link it down in the description box. But this matched the grass a lot better than all of the other options. So I'm just going to put this all the way across all of the spreads, and I'm going to just do it continuous from one side to the other, and that also helps to make sure everything looks even. And because in some of them, the Smurfs shoes hang a little bit lower than the others, so this just makes sure it's all kind of even when I can just put the washi either above or below the shoes. And that's going to be pretty much it as far as the Dutch door design. You will see as I kind of complete the spread, I will add a lot of shapes and boxes from Mojo Jojo sticker books, and I do choose to go with yellow and red as the colors. It's just really hard to match that Smurf blue, so I figured yellow and red were the safest of the bets. So those were the two colors that I decided to go with, and I just kind of used whatever I had left. I was, running into issues when it came to the color yellow. I didn't have enough of the shapes in yellow yet left, so I had to kind of rely a little bit more on the red in some areas. But in the end, I loved how everything turned out. So yeah, I'm gonna really speed up the portion where I'm adding boxes to the page because there's not much really to see there. So you will see at some point in the rest of the video, it kind of goes even faster than what it is now. And then once it is all done, I will come back and do a final flip through. All right, guys, so anytime you do a page where it requires cutting off pieces of the page, whether it's a Dutch door, a window, waterfall edges, or what have you, the mess left behind is really bad. It's like a disaster on my desk right now, but that's okay. Now I'm going to flip from the back to the front just so you can kind of get a overall picture of how everything looks. It's unfortunate that my printer is acting up it's not really the printer, it's the ink. I probably just need to shake it because it's still half full, but it's okay. We can just say that those are striped roofs, right? All right, so this is the very last page. You can kind of see how all of these, this is going to be identical to like the first page, but they're going in the opposite direction. And then here's like everybody kind of separated, but still super cute. And you can see the houses in between each one. That was kind of the main focus. Even though there are Smurfs that are hidden on that first page, I really preferred to see the houses in between these. Yeah, I don't know. That was just a personal preference. And you can see I have some stickers at the bottom as well. And then this is the first page where you can see everything. How cute is that? That turned out super, super cute. And now I'm motivated to do more spreads like this, like with, you know, Care Bears, Rainbow Bray, Strawberry Shortcake. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know how many pieces of clip art I can find to create like a whole thing. But maybe that will be an idea going forward. Maybe I'll do like a whole like series of creating those kind of fun spreads. But this is it for this one. Yes, I do have a lot of shapes and boxes and stuff like this down here. That was to fill the space. What I'm currently using this for, like I said, for affirmations journaling, I kind of just write an affirmation down and then just write how that can apply to me or how I can make it apply to me if I do A, B, or C type thing. This is more of like a self-confidence building journal, so I don't really need that much room to write. So this is more than enough space, and I really like the way that boxes and shapes and things like that really add to the spreads without taking up space. So that's the reason why I do use them. You may have caught some of my other videos where I also draw in boxes and things like that. That's also an option if you don't have stickers for boxes or just functional stickers in general. You can always use something with like a thicker point, more like, I don't want to say a Sharpie, but something that's a little bit thicker than a fine liner. To add some color and bring some interest without taking up functional space as well. But that is all I have for today, guys. I appreciate you so much for joining me. So thank you, thank you, thank you. If you enjoyed this video, please press that like button. And if you have yet to subscribe, I hope you would also consider subscribing to my channel. That is all I have for now. I hope you have a good rest of your day, evening or night. Until next time, bye.